I don't have to do a game. Oh.
You get time.
This game recap. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that out loud?
Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Tiger Minor League Report podcast. As we are broadcasting live during the Tigers game right now, is 2-0 Detroit. They are in
nice.
Houston, Spaceland. What's the nickname they call? Is it some nickname for Houston?
Hey.
Oh, they have several nicknames, right?
The big cowboy hat.
No, but they right now Gleyber Torres left the game with looks like another apparent injury.
Oh, and Troy Melton was scratched
with back injury with back spasms. Jack Flaherty left the game after he slipped initially, and then in the third he made like a play where he kind of stood up like this to get the fly or an out, and then he had to leave the game then too. So yeah, and then Spencer Torkelson struck out with the bases loaded, and I had to double check that stat. But as a correct stat, he's now for 1 for 16
this year.
Yeah, or no,
yeah.
Lifetime.
Yeah,
with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Oh, with 2 outs and the bases loaded, yeah. With the bases loaded in general, he's like 3 for 36 or something like that. Yeah, it's hard to believe. How did they score? I've been doing the slides.
Kevin McGonigal with a home run, and
nice.
then
I like those.
Then it was a pass ball on the first run. So Kevin McGonigal with his 5th home run of the season. So. Emily Waldon will be joining us at 9:15 for a segment to talk about what she's seen in Toledo. She did a Peck's article. I talked to her about the some of the John Peck and what she saw with him, and the article you can find on Baseball America. So, but for those who are fans of keeping score and what have you, I do have I'll be having the banner rolling here in a second, keeping tabs on the Tiger score tonight. If you're doing 2 things at once, but thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. And we also got a newsletter out today, issue number 10. If you're a Patreon member or Patreon member, that's out. And
issue number 10.
Issue number 10. And we also have our top 4 issue number. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know where you're going with that. Issue number 10. Should Pat Buchanan.
Very old reference.
Very, very. For anybody that's watched SNL, you'll get that. But yeah, Gleyber Torres left the game early. So. But yeah, at any rate, our top 46 is updated finally, so you can go to our website, tigersmlreport.com, and you can see the top 46. Majority of the scouting reports are there. There's a few missing, and then Chris is working on an article. We're starting a draft coverage too. I'm doing a draft piece. I got a tip from I showed you that tip I sent you, right, Chris? The email I got.
Oh yeah. The catcher from New Jersey.
Yeah, and there was a player working out today. Shout out to Jake and the Tigers turmoil who tweeted out a player that was at Comerica Park. Only it was a pitcher from Wichita State that was getting looks like a tryout, or believe it, Comerica. Do you remember that guy's name was, Chris?
I don't remember his name, but yeah, he was interesting because I looked at his stats and he was an all-star in the Cape Cod League, but his overall stats in college weren't all that great. Maybe it's just better against wood bats. But yeah, it's I generally think that's a pretty good way to determine, like, if you can get information on who actually comes in for a workout, it's probably a pretty good idea of who they might be looking at, because we know that, like, Oliveto came in for a workout last year, but no guarantee that they're going to take that guy. And also, I don't know how crazy the Tigers would be about him.
Well, Colt Keith, yes, home run, yeah, home run for Colt Keith. Hell yeah. I was just talking about that. What's up? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say?
No, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Ooh, a 2-run bomb?
Yeah, 2-run bomb.
Nice.
Let's see here. Well, how far was that? Whoa. 108 off the bat, 411 distance.
Not too
That's
shabby.
a beauty.
Let's see. So McGonigal walked. That's it.
Yeah.
Dingler hit by a pitch. Colt Keith hit by a pitch. Oh, Colt Keith was hit by a pitch to score the first run.
Yeah.
So that's his third RBI of the game.
Ethan Rogers pitches at Wichita State. Okay, thank you. It was Ethan Rogers. Thank you.
Wait, no. That's not who it was. Ethan Rogers is the kid that they drafted before.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I'm sure we can go in here.
Ethan Rogers.
I thought Ethan Rogers was a kid that they drafted before. My mistaking, if I'm mistaking. This is Brady Hamilton was the kid from Wichita State.
Okay. 108.9 off the bat.
Mm-hmm. That was a 383. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry, I was just admiring that one there. Drafted last year, did not sign. Thank you. Okay. All right. There we go. Mystery behind that. As you know, the David Chad era was the Wichita State heavy area, but
and that's another. We've talked about some of the areas that this new crew seems to be drafting players from. The Northeast. You've talked about, and I talked about like the LA area, right?
Yeah.
But they also take an awful lot of kids that go to that, pitching WRX facility, which I think is in Oklahoma City area.
Yeah.
Like Cash Kuiper, Kale Whiska. I think Bryce Alline was from there, maybe. Maybe he's from a different place, but so it wouldn't shock me again if you get somebody from like the Oklahoma JUCOs this year.
Oh, hell yeah. Now Sports Torkelson goes deep. Whoa, there we go. Big enough for that. I was just talking about him not hitting with the bases loaded, but guess what? If he's on a solo shot, he's fine. 103 off the bat, 372 feet. And you know what we're just going to do for now? We're just going to share I have the game time feed.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just share that until we get to the screens. But just wanted to talk about the Tigers series with Cleveland a little bit, and we'll get to, like I said, we'll talk to Emily Waldon a little bit about what she saw. But it's voodoo. There's some sort of voodoo, Chris, with Cleveland. I'm convinced of this, and this is something that it's a cycle thing. If you ever noticed this before,
yeah,
when we were younger, Cleveland had the Tigers number. Then for a while, the Tigers had Cleveland's number. Now it's kind of turned back a little bit, but it just the amount of the little things Cleveland moves that brand of baseball that annoys the hell out of me sometimes. It's just the bunting, the little things like that. It's it's irritating.
Yeah, there's it kind of reminds me of like you're a basketball team that isn't particularly great at handling the ball, and you run up against a team that does like full court pressure. And then you just, because every time the Tigers play Cleveland, they start doing things that are like bizarre and make a mistake. Like Dingler had that throwing error at a third.
Yeah.
And they just, make these mistakes, and then they don't ever execute with men on base. Now, maybe Cleveland has some sort of amazing, scouting reports, and they're just elite at executing. But you look at the number of like the pitchers from Cleveland who aren't any good, really, who just shut down the Tigers. It's really frustrating. And yeah, I think I honestly do think it's mental. There's something like they're pressing super hard against Cleveland, and Cleveland just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and the Tigers keep doing it. So they got to get over that, because they are 0-6 against Cleveland this year, I think, right?
Yeah, they're 0-6. They have lost 6 in a row to Cleveland. But Chris, I really think there's something else out there. I really think that there's some sort of, as somebody who grew up in a Cuban household and dealt with Santeria and a firsthand experience, my father did practice it. I said it before, I'll say it again. You've seen it in my garage,
mm-hmm.
Been able to throw it away. I mean, I think he has a lot to do with this. I really think Joe Boo really has something to do with this. Like, just I mean, I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to show you the picture. I'll have to find a picture. His run. But my dad had like this whole thing with it. Like, so it's like it looks like it looks like a little volcano thing with little symbols on it. And my dad would put candy in it. That was part of and then you would say something in Spanish, and there was like this clay pot and all this stuff with it. And one day I'll show it on here, but I'm just always scared to talk about it a little bit, because my dad was a strange man when it came to his religion. He never talked about it. He just said, would say somebody's, like one time I think I've told the story before. He had money in this clay pot. There was like this porcelain pot with like stones and there's symbols in there. And I needed money for Mountain Dew and barbecue chips after a baseball game. Took the money, ended up getting hit in the nuts during baseball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so there you
go. Don't take the money out of the clay pot.
Yeah.
I do think that's what happened in May.
Yeah. No, that is 100%. Like, I like what Salty here says. Cleveland has Joe Boo and we have a Joe.
Yeah. And meanwhile, what Houston is, they're using their pitcher Kai Wei Ting. Is that it?
Yeah.
The Tigers are not waiting to get up into the batter's box. Is that right?
Yeah.
They're waiting to exhale.
Well, yeah, we got the punts tonight, but no. But the other thing about the Cleveland series too is for example, right now they had 3 home runs in 3 innings. Somehow they just cannot. It was something that Tanner Bybee, I was noticing this, and Dickerson was talking about this. They were able to. Joey Cantrell also was throwing more sliders, cutter, and they were able to change the pat. Like Tigers were getting no fastballs from him at all. And then Bybee was just throwing fastballs by him. So it's just really weird how both pitchers approached Friday and Saturday's game very differently.
Yeah, and they seem to do a really good job of keeping, when the Tigers do make contact, it's all to the center of the field, right? It's to the barrel 370 feet to left center, but it's an out. It's an easy out because, they do a really good job. And like I said, they got to get over it somehow. They just need to go out there and not worry about making little mistakes, but for now, play the team in front of you, play the Astros, and they have a bunch of games against the Yankees, right? And then series against the White Sox.
Yeah, the first things first. I believe it's the White Sox are up this weekend with I think it's Negro League weekend on Friday and Saturday. And by the way, if you're not doing anything Friday, June 19th, which is Juneteenth, the Hamtramck Park is having a game. They're having a prep game on Saturday. So let me I gotta print this out before we get to Emily here in a second, because I promised Gary I would talk about this a little bit.
Yeah,
Jerry Gillette, the president of the Sabre chapter here locally, a really good friend of mine, and he's become kind of a mentor guy to. So the Friends of the Historic Hamtramck Stadium and Parks Conservatory are proudly announced the return of the 5th annual Hamtramck Juneteenth celebration on Friday, June 19th at the historic Hamtramck Stadium. Don't need the rush. Located at 3201 Dan Street in Hamtramck. The free public event will feature a community celebration honoring Juneteenth, the legacy of Black baseball, and youth opportunities. The keynote speaker is Dorian Hairston, a poet, educator, and former college baseball player from Kentucky. Hairston is the author of Pretend the Ball is Named After Jim Crow, the story of Josh Gibson, a collection of poems that show baseball's reflected society at the time. His work explores the Black American experience through mortal Negro League's superstar Josh Gibson. So the ceremony starts at 11 o'clock, and then they have the Detroit Prep Classic Home Run Derby at noon for the Turkey Stearns Foundation Juneteenth Multidiscipline Art Contest, and the Home Run Derby scholarship winners will take place at 1:30. So the game is going to be at 2 o'clock. The team Stearns versus Team Tisley. So there you go. Yeah,
very cool. That Hamtramck Stadium doesn't get renovated without Gary. Really, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge undertaking, and very cool to celebrate the other baseball team in Detroit. That kind of that's one of those things about obviously everybody deserved the same chance, but when Black players were able to go in the major leagues, the Negro leagues kind of died out.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
here's Emily from the pits of hell. Emily, where are you?
Yeah, where are you?
So dark.
Emily? Yeah.
So, full confession, I was having some technical problems, so I'm currently sitting on my bed.
No, it does. You are in a confession booth.
If I'm being fully transparent, I need a new laptop. I'm going to put that out there. I need a new laptop. So that's next on the list for me.
So, Emily, you come in time, and so did Brandon just came in time for this question here. Mitch wants to know, because you did see Toledo over the weekend. I wanted to ask you, we brought you in for the segment to talk about your Peck article in Baseball America, and mainly what you saw in Toledo. I saw you on Saturday, and Clark made that really nice diving play. Do you think we'll get a Clark call before July 1st?
That's a really good question. I'm going to say probably not. That just comes from a place of, I feel like AJ is going to do everything he can with the guys he has first. And then I think until he gets to a point of saying, okay, now that time has come, I think we'll see Max Clark. But something tells me I think we've still got a little bit more time. But I guess we'll see what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready yet, but I did see some signs over the weekend that he's taking better defensively. That nice catch he made, we were talking about that a little bit Saturday, but overall, his overall demeanor and hitting more pull side, it just seems like he's starting to figure things out quicker in Toledo and at the right time too. And everybody, Jerry, Valencia, I was writing about this in a newsletter, but what else stood out to you in Toledo this weekend? Because I know Saturday's game was, let's not mince words here, it was a stinker. But Sunday's game was a lot more of what we've been seeing consistently from Toledo's bats, which is real, just home run, like extra bases, essentially.
Well, and I honestly feel like we're seeing a bit of the same thing we're seeing in Detroit, where you have a collection of guys who are honestly pretty good offensively, but it seems to be the challenge of getting that to stay consistent to where you see the ability there, but for whatever reason, there always feels like there's a bit of a disconnect. And you mentioned Ben Moljari. He's somebody who just continues to surprise me. He always seems to find ways to produce offensively. I think he's a solid defender. I've never seen any real concerns from him defensively, but just really easy power, really easy power. And I feel like over time, he's sort of, I don't know if matured is the right word or just developed into really an offensive force. And I think we got to see that on better display on Sunday because, yeah, Saturday was a little challenging to watch.
Yeah, the St. Paul, like just a matter of minute, like it was Carl Edwards Jr.'s toast. I'm sorry, no, to those Carl Edwards Jr. fans out there, that was one of the longest innings I've sat through in a long time. Like that, I think I sent Chris a picture. I sent a picture of the count at the time. It was like 41 pitches, 35 of them were straight balls or something like that. No exaggeration. It was bad, and but that was brutal. But I wanted to talk to you about your John Peck article a little bit. And Peck has been turning on as like in 300 over the last month or so. Between him, Pacheco, who's I got to admit, I'm been surprised a little bit about Pacheco's fast adaptation of AA. What about Peck this year? I mean, I know Peck got off to a rough start defensively, but it seems like the bat also got off to a slow start. But as of late, what's clicked for Peck?
I had a long talk with Tony Capicelli, he was the manager at West Michigan, for those who aren't aware, for 24 and 25, and now he's with Erie now for the 26th season. So he's essentially had John Peck for 3 years. This is his third year with him, and he did acknowledge that bit of a choppy start. But the thing with John is that quiet confidence that you kind of see in him once you get to know him a little bit, and you kind of see how he operates. You learn very quickly that he's working things out in his own mind. And I feel like some people are just wired that way, where they want to hear the coach's feedback, they want to hear what the organization is telling them, but he's the type of person where he's got such a high baseball IQ that he's looking at these situations and he's looking at his personal performance and he's saying, I know what I need to do here. It's just a matter of me figuring out how to get there. And I think we're seeing him develop even more because as we saw with him last year, I mean, he became a force last year. And this to me, not to obviously knock prospect rankings, I almost feel like those of us who follow baseball closely, the rankings almost unintentionally disqualify certain guys if they're not on those lists. And I think that's what makes minor league baseball so special, is that you see these guys sort of come out of the woodwork and they become legitimate talents and they become household names, and you find those names in conversations. And since I first connected with John early last year, that's really what that whole journey has been about for him. So it's really been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, especially a guy like, I think about Jim Jarvis, for example, who's now with the Braves, who, you're right. He wasn't on any prospect list or anything like that, but got off to a really good start in AAA, and he's got to see the big league level just for a little bit, but still that's a story where Jarvis was going about his thing, and I don't think he was really high on our list, Chris, right? I mean, we had him maybe in the 20s, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he ever got into the 20s or not, but yeah, it's sometimes the players grow on you, right? They just grow on you. The more you see them, the more they perform. There's a certain level of that with, like, we got that from Colt Keith along the way, right? Like in how you Lee. Wagas Peak.
Paredes hit a home run to the left.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peck is another one of those guys. Like, you know, we wrote about him as a guy to watch before last season because of he didn't have like super loud numbers, but the backing data was interesting, and he had a whole bunch of steals in a short number of games. And yeah, he really kind of jumped onto the sort of into the Tigers mental verse there with his performance in spring training.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a shot at, like, you know, the national writers or this or that. It's just that, you know, it's pretty hard to pay close attention to the guys who weren't like high draft picks or who are, you know, putting up huge power numbers. You know, I mean, I've been bit by the same thing. Like, you know, it's just easy to undervalue like defense, speed, like the full collection of tools sometimes. And all of a sudden the guy starts to hit a little more than people expected, and you've got a complete player. Whereas, yeah, you know, you may not have seen that guy on the top 100, or he may just have been a guy who, you know, looked like a solid org player who might be a utility guy someday. And all of a sudden they start to hit, and they're a lot better than that because all those secondary tools were already there.
By the way,
a guy like that.
Yeah, Peck could be that guy. And Peck, I think, like, I was talking to Zach about it earlier in the year, the broadcaster Erie, the kind of slow start kind of surprised him. By the way, the Astros struck for back-to-back home runs, a 2-run shot by Paredes, and then Jose Altuve went deep on.
They're eating Wagyu.
Wagyu. It's 5-3 now at the end of the third inning. But no, Emily, the other one of the other takeaway from your trip to Toledo, what else stood out to you among any pitchers stood out to you? Because I know right now Woo-Suk Go is putting up some really impressive numbers, but the velocity is kind of a concern a little bit because 92, 93, is that going to still play up in the big league level? But who else stood out to you over the weekend?
I have to be very honest because I know the fan base appreciates the honesty. There really isn't much depth when it comes to pitching in Toledo right now. I think there are guys who can definitely step in and help the situation at times, but if we're looking at real prospect pitching potential, I think you're looking at the Florida State League to the Midwest League right now. Some of those college arms, Ben Jacobs, I know, has been in a lot of conversation as far as someone that we could really see sort of grow more into his own this year than we've already seen. And isn't that minor league baseball, though? You see this ebb and flow of a whole crop of pitchers. We had the Casey Mize, the Tarek Skubal, the Alex Faedo wave that sort of pushed through. And then you almost had to wait again for that cycle to come through, or the next wave of pitchers started to work their way up. So I think as far as pitching depth in Toledo, I think, you know, if we're being honest, I think it is lacking right now. But I think with that wave, we should start to see more of those arms work their way up and see a bit more. But honestly, the one who I was really looking forward to seeing was Max Anderson defensively, just because that's someone who I've spoken with him specifically about finding his rhythm defensively. The Tigers have been in a position where they've had so many guys in the middle infield that they've almost had to sort of play that chess game of figuring out, okay, if this guy's going to thrive here, can we shift this guy over here and move this guy here? And Max Anderson, if you know him, this is one of the most adaptable, even-tempered, I'm just here to play. That is as real as it gets with Max Anderson. He loves the game, product out of Nebraska. Jabba Chamberlain is actually his biggest fan. Fun fact for anybody who wasn't aware of that. And he's just somebody who he's hungry to grow. He goes about it with that same, similar to John Peck, just a quiet confidence, and he puts the product out on the field. So getting to see him work defensively was really, I'd say, the highlight of the trip for me.
Yeah, you know what? He showed a really good range at third last time I was down in Toledo. He's getting better at third. He's getting more comfortable there. And it was interesting where I know the Tigers have had him all over the infield a little bit, but he has continued to be adaptable. The one thing that I wanted to ask you before we get you back to your Dungeon of Doom background there. So sorry, I couldn't help myself. As far as like just overall impressions with West Michigan too, I know you've been hitting up the Whitecaps. It's been a rough year record wise. It has not been a great year for the Whitecaps, but there has been some glimmers of hope. One being Bryce Rayner and his swing. I'm not going to ask you specifics because we laughed about it the other day, but Rayner aside, what else has stood out to you in West Michigan? Because I know we're both big fans, and I know Chris is a fan, and Brandon, I'm not really sure if you're a fan of Woody Hayden, but there's some on the record. I mean, besides the record, there's some talent there in West Michigan that stands out.
There definitely is. And if anyone follows me on Twitter, shameless plug, I'm a video nerd, and I'm such a visual person. You talked about Bryce's swing. It's honestly been fascinating to me because you kind of have watched, looking back at some of the footage from last year, looking at how he was before his injury, after his injury, and then coming up to another new level this year. And you almost have to adapt all over again because he had to rediscover himself post-injury. And then you get up to the Midwest League, which I've preached this so many times. The Midwest League is not a simple league, no matter what position you're playing. And you've got guys who they're coming into their own more, they're more polished, they're more disciplined. And I think he's really kind of starting to find his rhythm because he's still young, still has that really big body to work with. And I remember talking with Isaac Pacheco last year about the challenges of having these long arms and long legs. You almost have to learn how to tame that at the plate without the risk of losing some of that offensive power. And I think we're starting to see that from him. But outside of Rayner, I'm a big fan of Jackson Strong. I really like seeing the power numbers he's put up. I'm not sure off the top of my head his home run numbers, but I believe he homered in 3 straight games recently. And he's really just been showing a lot more of that power than I saw last year. And then Woody Hayden is just fun. I'm a big fan of Woody Hayden. Not only is he such a positive person, he just brings just this light and this always smiling, always jumping around, always having fun. And he put on actually a little bit of weight over the off season. He told me I think he gained somewhere between like 7 to 10 pounds, if I remember correctly. And this is a guy, he's naturally thin. I'm not going to say Peyton Graham thin, but you've got that you've got that kind of the similar, very thin, lean muscle, but he's really showing that weight gain, I think, has only made that much more valuable because he's always had a good hand-eye coordination situation going on. But this year, I think we're seeing a more mature version of a few of these guys in West Michigan. And like you said, the tables have turned because now we're seeing a team like the Dayton Dragons, who were literally at the bottom of the barrel last year. And now they're starting to move up through the ranks, and they've sort of switched positions with West Michigan. So it's that ebb and flow again of the game, and we're just seeing another example of that.
Guys, want to add anything else before we move on?
I'm interested, just to see if Rayner can like build up his legs and his lower half mobility to kind of, because he is kind of an upper body hitter right now. And he does have the long limbs, and they tend to get away from him a little bit. And that, kind of naturally leads to him, going the opposite field a lot, being late a little bit, not turning on some pitches that he could turn on probably. And I just think we just need to be very patient with Bryce Rayner. I know we just keep making this point over and over again, but he didn't swing a bat for, 8 months. He was straight out of high school at the time. Came into the season with maybe 100 plate appearances, something like that. We're just gonna have to kind of see how it plays out this year. We all know he's kind of a high risk bat as far as the hit tool, but when you have stupid power and a huge arm and speed, you got to give him time. He's right now facing guys who pitched in college who are 2 or 3 years older than him in some cases. And you just got to kind of let him work and see how it goes for the rest of the year, I think, before we really start making any solid judgments about how things are going to turn out for him. And Woody Hayden is fun. He is he just does a lot of little things. He's a scrappy player who might turn out to be some kind of a Zach McKinstry type in the end. And putting on some muscle mass would definitely be advised for him, just to get a little more bat speed going. He can make contact, but he just doesn't impact the ball very hard very often. So maybe that's going to change this year. We'll see.
Well, and I talked to him at the start of the season because we were talking about that weight gain. He actually got married in the off season, and I said, "Is it because you've got somebody cooking for you now?" And he kind of shot me a grin. He goes, "She's a good cook." He said, "I can't lie."
No.
Yeah.
No, Emily, did you have you talked to Lucas Ellisalt at all this year or last when he came up there?
Yeah, so last year, and I actually have a video, which I can reshare on Twitter if anyone's interested, where he talks about his pitch mix. This year's been interesting because I might have touched on this with Raj a little bit, but we're seeing sort of, I don't know if you want to call them growing pains from some of the arms from last year in West Michigan, that they're sort of not seeing that same consistency they saw last year. And I know with Lucas specifically, he was really focused on polishing and fine tuning what he had, but he was also working to kind of introduce, I want to say it was his kick change that he was trying to put more into the mix a little bit too. And he's one of the ones that just seems to be kind of going through a little bit of growth from a performance standpoint, because I don't feel like we're seeing the same sort of bite to the numbers that he had last year. And I could say the same about a few other arms, but it just seems like they're kind of trying to refine some things. And unfortunately, when you're going through that refining process, it's not always pretty. But I think that's where the state of a few of those pitchers are at right now with the Whitecaps.
Yeah, especially with the guys like Rainer Castillo, who I think it's weird to see almost like I don't want to say regression, but just stunned, like he stopped growing. I don't know what it is. I don't know. By the way, Jemai Jones in for Kerry Carpenter struck
in the
out.
fourth inning.
The fourth inning. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. What are we doing here? Sorry.
No, Emily, great job. I know you had an article about Christian Santana. I don't know if you want
putting one together. He, for those who don't really know him so well, he's actually Wenzel Perez's cousin. They come from the same town in the Dominican Republic, and so he talked to me in length about how much of an inspiration Wenzel has been, just watching his career, watching the way he's developed, and he really has that hunger to say, how much can I follow in that path? How can I sort of carve my own path into the game? And he also shared some very passionate views on coffee. So that's something that I'm really going to have to get into, because in his experience, he said American coffee does not measure up to Dominican coffee. So that's definitely a debate that we might have to have more conversations on.
Yeah, ask him how it compares to Cuban coffee, because I've had some really good Cuban coffee. I don't want to disparage the DR, but I'm just saying I'm not sure they're quite at that level. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
we might have to bring him on as a guest, and we could have a little debate about that sometime.
Get yelled at.
Yeah, and in my back mantle, I have a Cuban coffee maker back there near my dad for a reason. I mean, that's retired because it was something that the game of that Cuban coffee is. And Riley Green strikes out to end the inning.
Not necessarily what you something shocking with a lefty out there. It's the Jemai Jones stuff that just needs needs to end. It needed to end a couple weeks ago, man. We don't like Jemai Jones as a person, and again, the way he's performed, I think he can clear waivers. I think he can go right to Toledo and you'll keep him. But what do I know?
Yeah, especially when the AJ Hinch. I want to read the AJ Hinch comments.
Yeah, we need to get into that, because it feels like we're in AJ Hinch. Yeah. Like, hey, what are you gonna do about this Scott Harris? I'm just gonna keep playing this dude. So either get me something. I mean, it's really starting to feel egregious to where it's just like, I've got this guy. This is where he's supposed to play. I'm just gonna keep playing him there, and it kind of feels a little bit like it did at the deadline last year, where there was some irritation, or at least it felt like there was between the two of them. Like, this is what I got. What am I supposed to do with this guy?
So,
but yeah, he could just sit him.
We could sit him. So let me, before we get into that, Emily, what do you want to plug? And by the way, congratulations on getting the Fox 2 Sports channel thing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, it's been cool. I think just sort of getting back into my rhythm with everything. I've been trending in a really promising direction with my treatments, and so it's allowed me to get back to the park, start getting some more conversations and more more article ideas going. So it's good to feel more like myself again for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's awesome.
your energy level is very noticeable in a very good way. So I'm glad that
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can find Emily on Baseball America. You can find her on our website. You can also find her at Just Baseball. We're all part of Just Baseball now too. So it's all coming together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good stuff. And Emily, thanks again. And like I said, we'll probably see you at probably West Michigan sooner than later. I haven't been there in a while.
You got Lansing coming in this week.
Yeah, Lansing, who by the way gave up 25 runs. 25 runs on Saturday. That was insane. I don't know if you saw that or not, Emily. It was 30 hits. Crazy.
I heard about the score, and you just kind of step back and go, well, Tigers affiliates haven't done that yet, so I guess we can count our blessings.
Yeah, go nuts, go nuts, go nuts. By the way, I had the Philly steak nacho, and they came up with this nice helmet there.
Delicious.
But,
oh, you're making me hungry now.
Emily, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
Of course. All right, thanks, guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So, yeah, here's what Jemai Jones said to.
Wait, where somebody had the perfect spite pinch hitting. That's exactly what that feels like now.
Well, I mean, so yeah, do we really think that this is Scott Harris? Like, oh, I really believe in this guy, or is it AJ Hinch believing in this guy?
I really don't know. Yep.
Yeah, this is what Hinch said. It's been a tough year. I'm not going to read all of it, but here's what he said. The last part I want to read here. We need Jemai to do his part to truly function the way the strategy is designed and how the roster is built. Continue to give him opportunity because we believe in him. But we clearly need production in order to continue that and walk into those exact situations we know are coming because we've seen him deliver before on the biggest stage that we've played. I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know. The rosters are always in flux. Production matters. And we're going to continue to work with him because we believe in him, end quote. And you can read the rest here, obviously. But
I mean, that's what you're going to say. I mean, that's the problem. Like, what is he going to say? Yeah, he's sucking. I don't want to play him anymore. This guy's killing us. He can't say those things, but he's still putting him in that kind of a situation. And it's to a point where I'm ready to like call up Jace Young and just let Jace Young play first base, and we'll just keep Torque on the bench to be the lefty masher. Like I don't know. I don't have a solution, and Scott Harris isn't going to go trade for anybody because Scott Harris doesn't do things. So I really don't know. And if Glaber's hurt, I think we're probably cooked, brother.
Yeah,
seeing that right after McGonigal homer, that was just like, okay, all right, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point now, if Glaber's out again, you have to consider the possibility that Lee is going to be. They're going to probably stick with Lee again.
Yeah,
and and as far as Max Sanders going to get consideration, I don't know. But as far as Jace Young goes, there was an interesting stat that a Toledo guy told me the other day. He has never hit a home run off curveballs. Like he has one hit for curveball. Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, that is
Noah, what we need for Max Anderson to get the call up, maybe a injury to Torres, if that's possible. But I don't know. The thing is, and I wrote about this in an article over the weekend, I don't think the Tigers are going to make any big roster decisions. Even you look at the minor league level, no guys have been promoted. It's all been, as Chris pointed to me out the other day, it's all been org guys going back and forth. Go ahead, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, just in the last couple of years, they haven't really promoted anybody before late June. I don't think.
It's kind of been around the All-Star break last year, right? Right before then.
Yeah,
I think Colt Keith was the one a couple of years ago when they promoted him right when Erie was not officially not making the playoffs in the first half. Then he got promoted to Toledo. But other than that, they waited until after the All-Star break with Clark and McGonigal and Briseño. And I can't really think of anybody. I mean, Rayner got promoted at the beginning of the year, sort of, but they generally don't move guys very quickly. It's just you'll see other teams like the Nationals have moved Devin Fitzgerald up to Double-A now. I think he started in Low-A. There are other teams moving was it Eric Hartman? I think they started him in High-A. He's a 19-year-old. But it's just not the way the Tigers do it. And I don't think we'll see Max Anderson. If they need a bat from Toledo, it'll be maybe Cruz, maybe Workman, those guys who are already in the 40-man. Yeah, maybe Young.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to is they're not going to want to use another 40-man spot for him. But it just comes back to you. Okay, but if you have Trey Cruz and Chase Young on the 40-man roster, and you won't use them in the situations that we've already been in this year. What are they doing here anymore? Like why did you keep them? So,
yeah,
and it's not that I think Max Anderson's ready to come up here and do a whole lot either, to be honest, but they just don't have a whole lot of other options. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe you bring up Trey Cruz and then you play him at short some, and you use McKinstry and play McGonigal at second base a little bit, something. But I don't know. But based on Gleyber Torres' reaction, it looked like it was going to be another IL stint. I mean, he was in real pain, and immediately knew he was going to have to come out. So,
I missed it. I was what part of his body was it?
He was indicating left side again. Yeah, left oblique, which is exactly what was injured last time. So I'm assuming that's exactly the same thing. Yeah. Fire everyone. Fire the trainers. Fire AJ. Fire Harris. Put Rod Metzler in charge. I don't know, or Garco or something. I have no idea anymore.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I was going to say during my takeaway when I was talking to Emily Saturday night was the lack of bullpen. It was bad. Like there was an error by Trey Cruz, but it was just the lack of execution at some points in time from just the littlest things. And it's like this regression that's been so strange to see. But when I know there's the pitcher from Cleveland that they picked up that's been pitching pretty well. Dingle with the triple. Oh, hell yeah. All right. Well, no, Dingle with the triple.
Yeah, okay. By the way, get out there and vote for Dingler
in
the All-Star game.
Let's talk about these All-Star shenanigans by Toronto. What the hell, man?
Well, you've got an entire country rooting for one team.
Yeah, voting is just not the way this should be done like that. Because they've got way too many people on their side, and we're all divided down here among 29 other teams.
Yeah, again, but like every time Toronto sniffs any kind of success, this is what happens, and it's really annoying because But here's the thing: Toronto fans travel well. They travel well, but how the hell is he fourth? Dingler is fourth behind the Athletics don't even have a damn city to name after themselves.
They've got 3 cities now. That's why.
What? So what? You have what? Sacramento, Vegas, and what was the other city?
Oakland?
No, Oakland's like screw you.
I'm sure there's still people there voting for your favorite A's, but
Ryan Jeffers is right behind him though. Jeffers? What the fuck am I missing?
That doesn't make any sense.
Come on.
Yeah.
I went in there.
Sorry.
Come on, Keith. I went in there expecting to vote for McGonigal at shortstop, and I ended up picking Colson Montgomery. I was like, he's got 17 home runs. That's kind of a lot. But I did vote for Dingler for sure because, he's been spectacular this year. He's top 10 player in baseball. But part of it is I think just the general enthusiasm about the Tigers, right? Like May killed all the enthusiasm the entire city had for the Tigers, and I think probably 75% of those people haven't come back, even with their, solid performance over the last couple of weeks. But but I think
at least the last 10 games.
Dingler definitely needs to be in the All-Star game. I mean, he's having an amazing season, borderline MVP season.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best defensive catcher in baseball, and he's arguably the best hitting catcher in baseball. I mean, you could give it to Langoliers, that's fine. There's arguments on that score, but he's right there. I mean, to be fourth in the AL is, pretty just kind of stupid. But it's the All-Star game, and the All-Star game is stupid, guys. It's just a fun, Yeah, I mean, we've I know we've done this topic, in the past. All-Star voting is irritating, and last year everybody got in, and then the team went to absolute crap afterwards. So this year it's probably not going to matter. But didn't do us any good last year, that's for sure. And then McGonigal, I mean, there's just tough competition at shortstop. I mean, you could vote for Witt for sure. You could vote for Montgomery, whoever you want. It's totally understandable.
Yeah. Look, and I said this.
Kevin's going to be there in the future, guaranteed.
Well, once we go through the slides, we'll have to talk about the White Sox series coming up because the White Sox are playing some damn good baseball, and they're loaded to the gills with a system that's producing talent to them, and they've been drafting better. Spencer Torkelson just drew a walk here, so runners at first and third here with, I believe it's one out. It's one out. Yeah, it's one out.
McKinstry.
So McKinstry up right now
against Blue Ball.
Yeah, blue balls. Blue balls.
Blue ball.
So,
All right.
Here, I like this. I like this comment here. I'm not mad about the bad season. My beef is management not playing for a guaranteed tie. Learn to bunt.
Guaranteed tie. What?
Like maybe playing small ball. Is I think I was trying to say. That's what I gather.
Yeah.
Maybe just in
Right.
general. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. I hate small ball. So, there. That's what I think about it. I would love to see situational hitting is what I would like to see. I don't like giving away outs. I personally think like Cleveland's offense is trash, and the way Boat manages their offense is trash, and he just has a genius bullpen every year.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my take on it. I don't give away outs. I absolutely don't believe in it. So it is what it is.
No,
But it would be nice if you can bunt, that'd be great. I mean, I would love to see someone bunt and be good at it. But who on this team is dialed into bunt well? Like maybe McKinstry. You can bunt with Rogers because he's not going to do a whole lot anyway. But other than that, yeah, I don't really want to see that. But if we're talking small ball, like a little more hit and run, like hitting behind the runner, yeah, like I'd love to see that. Would love to see some contact and guys who look like they know the situation.
So if and when Max Clark does come up, he will bunt. It's part of his game. He will bunt for hits when you're not guarding the line or whatever. So that's one thing that I think fans.
And he will put the ball in play a ton, which helps with all of that. Just put the ball in play. You should move the runner most of the time if you're putting it in to the right side of the infield.
So yeah, the Tigers scored on well. Diggler scored on well pitch. Yeah, pass ball. They're 6-3 Tigers in the top of the fifth. As we continue to just go ahead, Brandon, as you were.
I don't know. That was about it. That was just my rant because I'm getting the same thing. Like we've got some commenters who just think like everything the Guardians do is genius, and I'm like their offense is like mid to garbage every year. They just have a great bullpen. You can't score on them in the late innings when they have a lead, and that lets you do anything.
And
you
also
get yourself one run and call it a day. But they run themselves out of big innings all the time too.
And I was
not against us because they have our number and it's in the Tigers' heads apparently when we play them. But yeah, I don't know. By and large, I think all that is a little overrated on what they do offensively.
I did want to ask your take about this too because I was talking to Chris about this earlier before we get to the slides. I thought they did a really good job. Cleveland did a really good job on Friday and Saturday adapting their starting pitchers. For example, Joey Contreras started throwing more. I think it was a changeup. He was throwing a pitch he doesn't normally throw often, more into his mix and his cutter. And he did not throw, he threw maybe one or two fastballs, maybe tops in the first 3 innings. And the Tigers just could not, he's able to adapt pretty quickly. And same thing with Tanner Bybee, who got blue. I watched the game a couple weeks ago against the Nationals. We allowed just 4 home runs in the first 3 innings. Center cut fastballs, the same pitches he was going to the Tigers. Tigers were missing them. Meanwhile, Nationals were teeing off on this guy. Both wins against the Tigers. But that was one thing I noticed, that they are very, pitch design wise, I think Cleveland is able to put a game plan together every time against the Tigers, and the Tigers can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are capable of commanding 4 pitches, and they'll adjust. Like if the Tigers are jumping something early, they'll adjust to what the Tigers are swinging at, and the Tigers don't adjust back. And I mean, this kind of goes to the thing I was reading the other day about the Brewers, where the Brewers might be the best team in baseball at identifying micro trends and knowing how to use their bench and how to rotate guys up from AAA, knowing who is hot right now, who's seeing the ball well, identifying it really quickly, getting those guys in games, making those adjustments in games. And the Tigers often seem, behind the curve. And it's hard, it's just hard to judge this team because we haven't really seen it in its fullest form. And there's almost always some weird issue that that is either an excuse or maybe explains it. Everyone's mad because Drew Anderson got pulled at 59 pitches today, but he's a reliever. He's been relieving all year and they're short an arm. I don't know. Melton gets hurt. You're in a weird situation. I don't love that. I can yell at AJ all day about still hitting Jahmai Jones, but I just don't see a whole lot of answers that they have in hand for a lot of the issues that have come up. And but at the same time, it does feel to me like every time we play the Guardians, they adapt to whatever we're doing really quickly and we don't adapt back. But then if you go watch the Guardians play other teams, the Guardians don't look impressive. It's not like they're out there wrecking shop everywhere else. And meanwhile, the Tigers have this weird knack for beating up on certain teams that, that everyone else has trouble with. And it's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly why those things happen.
By the way, thanks, Jake, for the update there. Gabriel Reyes, the lefty pitching for West Michigan, was
it looked like TJ. I saw the pictures earlier, just based on how he was set up. Yeah,
gosh darn it, man. Or I want to say more explicit.
I think that's his second. So
yeah,
that's never great.
Yeah, kind of explains how he was looking this year too.
Yeah, but with so many walks, there must have been something going on there. But no, I guess we didn't discuss what it was kind of a Pyrrhic victory for Cleveland on Saturday. They lost Angel Martinez and Chase DeLauder, and then Jose Ramirez broke his hamate bone.
Yeah,
so that was.
And then we don't get to play them the next game. You know, like absolutely classic for the way this year is going. They lose their top 3 hitters, and then that game gets rained out.
Well, you know what? I feel like the Tigers were fine with that too, because they probably did not feel like facing Gavin Williams.
Yeah.
And wanted to get to Houston a little earlier.
Gave Casey Mize a little more time to like heal up too, I suppose, maybe. Yeah.
The other strange thing, and it's about today's game, is what the hell's going on? The Tigers have 7 hits in 13 strikeouts.
Yep.
I think there's like 2 balls in play that weren't home runs, maybe 3. It's a very bizarre BABIP game for them.
It is. It has been a very strange one. And then we saw, Deng's first inning, like he couldn't find the strike zone, but then he'd strike somebody out. And then, it was like one of those classic, effectively wild, bizarro innings right off the jump. And then we kind of started doing the same thing.
Yeah, Chris, I have one word for it.
Pass balls, wild.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
That's right. It is DD Mega Doo-Doo.
I kind of wonder if there's something larger going on, though, too, because like looking around the league, like for some reason, the brand of baseball this year just seems to suck.
Yeah.
Like all over the place. And I do watch the AL more, and the AL's been bad this year just in general. But I don't know what's going on. It just seems like there's like random streakiness going on all over the place.
Or
a lot of good players have been bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been really, really strange. And that's why I keep going back to ABS brain, because it's the only like plausible, vague explanation I can give it, is that there's just too much thinking about that going on. And it's just messing up the way people normally would play the game. But I doubt that's all of it. It's just, I don't know. I watched a lot of baseball for a really long time, and it just seems like, I don't know, off this year somehow. I don't know how else to explain it.
You could argue that there's only like a handful of actually good teams this year. Like and if you look at the records, with the Mariners lead the West with 37 and 36 record.
Yeah. And there's, like Trey Turner's been trash. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been kind of meh. Jose Ramirez was kind of bad. There's been a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of good players. Like did they hit a wall? Like what is happening? What is going on out there?
I don't. I'm not going to get into the Scott Harris is terrible crap, because quite frankly, I don't have the energy for it. It's there's a lot of weird things going on, and I'm looking at this IL right now.
We're going to be talking about it a lot eventually, but there's plenty of time.
Kyle Finnegan's pitching because it's a bullpen game, Thomas. That's why. That's the reason why it's a bullpen game. They're using everybody they can right now at this moment.
Troy Melton was scratched with back trouble before the game. He was supposed to start, so now they're scrambling. That's why this is happening.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Joe Miller also on the IL. The IL, like every day, Chris. This list, by the way, every time you do this list, I have not seen it. You can probably have 3 more spots on the bottom too. This list has been full every time.
Yep.
Ronald Ramirez came back.
Oh yeah,
and they went 2 for 2. Yeah, the people had asked us about Trevor Heisman. The other high school pitcher they took this year, one of the 3. We're like, I don't know. He's on the roster. He hasn't pitched, and sure enough, 60-day IL. So it really is. They are 1 for 10 on high school pitchers having like long extreme injuries. Jonathan Rogers is the only one who hasn't been hurt at all, and they released him and then brought him back. And Jake Diaz has had, I think, a 7-day IL and a 60-day IL, but he's actually thrown some innings. It's remarkable.
But he's been terrible. So yeah, it has been. And now you can add Reyes to the list, and we just got, Miller and Reyes go down, and we just got Hall and Paul Wilson going a little bit. Rogers back. Jake Miller is not showing any signs of velocity all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know. I'm a little worried about that. Yeah, that was a little concerning. I know it's only his like 3rd or 4th outing, but that was upsetting. So yeah, I don't know. It's not looking too good on the pitching side either.
Speaking of not looking good, Toledo Saturday, the 6-1 loss, and it's Carl Edwards Jr. I was talking about this before you got on, Brandon. Carl Edwards Jr. is toast. Period.
Yeah.
The guy was. It was like 45 pitches, 35 of them were balls. I kid you not. He walked the bases loaded, and then I think it was I forgot what player for St. Paul had a home run after that. A little bit short while later, it was ridiculous. It was a really bad watch. And Connor Pinkerton started the game primarily slider 91, 92. I know Mark Gurach is a fan of Nick Sandlin, who was the best pitcher on Sunday a little bit, but Verlander got roughed up in his rehab start. 4 home runs in a simulation game today. Hyu Lee went off on him a couple times. The offense is the only thing that was interesting over the weekend. And then even then they had an off day Saturday. But look, I'm gonna I've said this once, and shout out to Scott Bentley, who had Ben Malgeri on his Locked On Tigers last week on his podcast, and he did a really good job with that. I will beat that Bell Malgeri drum until people get annoyed with it. I don't care. Look,
give him a try.
Give him a try. Yeah, and Brandon, he's hitting lefties. He's hitting, breaking balls. He's struggling with a little bit, but come on, like, what are we doing here? Why?
We got James Outman because they don't trust Matt Vierling in center field. It's like, if Matt Vierling can't outplay, enough to just play defensively, then just put Malgeri in there, because at least he's hitting, and he's as good a defender as Vierling is, probably even in center. So yeah, I'm with you. But I'm also at a point of mental breakdown where I'm kind of in a very strong effort state of mind with this team right now. But it was nice to win a couple games in a row, and like they had their little run, but it just, I don't know, man. The more I've been thinking about it and trying to write about things, the more it just feels like there's something rotten in the entire org right now. Like there's just something wrong. There's just something deeply wrong going on. Everyone's hurt. No one is really developing. They're not solving any problems at the major league level. They seem out of sorts. AJ seems snippy. The vibes are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all around feeling very much like it did in August, September. And I kind of thought we would get through that, once the injuries started to clear up in late May, but it still feels the same. And yeah, I mean, the offense went nuts for, 5 or 6 games there, and they looked kind of more like we thought that we were going to get, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Nice to see Keith hitting.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say that. At least that was a pleasant surprise to see him hit a couple homers now. So hopefully he's starting to find his groove, but oh man, it's just been ugly.
I maintain it's the Verlander monkey paw situation.
I mean, it might be. And I mean, honestly, what are they going to do there? I mean, you can't, they can keep him rehabbing for 30 days, but it's Justin Verlander. Like if, at a certain point, he's probably not going to be very happy with the situation, but he also has to know that he's not getting it done. Like Hyu Lee's just, teeing off on him in batting practice still. Can't get outs. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Carl Edwards Jr. was still in, Scott Harris's Rolodex, and so they had to bring him back out because they don't have any other ideas.
Yeah, Thomas Roro here says Verlander equals Alex Cobb at this point. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if we get the same sort of conference call thing where Verlander comes in and says, it's just not going to work, or I gave it a shot. But because I mean, I feel like part of this simulated game is on him, right? Like he probably doesn't want to go onto the field unless feels like he's himself again. And I don't know. It's who knows though, with, if Melton's hurt again, then maybe it's time for him to come back. But Mize is coming back, and I don't know. They got Skubal back. That was nice. He didn't necessarily look like vintage Skubal, but I mean his stuff looked pretty good. But he was not executing, which is totally understandable for a guy who's been away from the major leagues for 40 days or whatever. But yeah, it just honestly keeps piling up.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and Skubal's velocity looked better actually than it did early in the season. It was a little steadier, 98, 97. So, you assume he'll get it dialed in. But yeah, I mean, the Melton thing kind of throws a wrench in it. But we didn't really want Verlander back at this point, unfortunately. No. So, I mean, I'm kind of an advocate for moving Melton to the bullpen, but they I don't know. We'll just have to see what comes up with the back surgery. But if you give me Melton and Montero and say who do you want to stay starting, I lean Montero, and I do, because he's been absolutely the most durable pitcher in the entire organization.
Yeah.
For 4 or 5 years now. He keeps doing what they need him to do, and I mean, moving a good, a talented pitcher with good stuff like Melton to the bullpen never feels great. But again, so if we're gonna compare ourselves to Cleveland, I mean, Cade Smith could be a starter somewhere, but he throws 98, 99. He's got nasty breaking stuff, and they understand the value of being able to lock down those late innings and not losing games when you have a lead. And the Tigers may have to accept that a little bit. But then again, you look toward next year, and we don't really have much of a rotation going, so they're probably going to need him. So I don't know. We'll just see what they decide. But until the trade deadline, I think I would still kind of prefer him to be in the bullpen if you can swing it, and then maybe adjust and put him back in the rotation later on once you deal. Yeah,
Thomas,
presumably Mize and Scooble. Yeah.
By the way, he said letting Paul Sewald walk. He wasn't. Paul Sewald didn't do shit here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean that's that one that.
Come on.
Maybe you could hold on to him and hope that he would have figured things out. But I don't think anybody was really screaming for him to come back after what he threw 2 innings for him last year.
Yeah, I'll add to that list though. I mean, because there's more. There's Tommy Canley. So far, there's been Kenley Jansen.
John Brebbia.
There was Shelby Murray. Shelby Miller.
There's your list, Thomas. You could have gone better with Shelby. You could go,
No, it's a lot harder to find the successes. I'll say that.
Yeah, and and that's obviously very concerning. I mean, I think we all think Max Clark's going to be a pretty good player. He just needs time. And you've got 3 of the top 40 players in baseball, probably, between Green, Dingler, and McGonigal. And you're going to have Framber next year, and we'll see what Joe gives you. But yeah, where's the pitching going to come from? It's going to be an off-season question, and it's a question that we're going to keep answering.
Yeah, and that's not really going to come in Toledo, because Toledo right now is just a hodgepodge of veterans and guys that are just the bullpen starts. Chris, what do you want to say about Toledo before we move on?
Nothing.
Sorry, I kind of went on just an absolute rant mentioning everything that was annoying me all in sequence with no through thread, except that it's irritating.
No, and speaking of irritating though, Joe Miller went down with an injury, which Erie now officially, outside Kenny Suara, every pitcher in the projected rotation has been injured for the Seawolves, and it's ridiculous. But on the other hand, Brett Callahan, he's been tearing it up. And when I was doing a deep dive on Pacheco, in the last month, he's had 8 home runs. In the last, he's been on an absolute tear, quietly having a good tear. Between him and Peck, these guys have been doing pretty well. Rosado has struggled a little bit there, but it's been Kenny Suara, the last 2 starts, it's actually been pretty good. But good as in what he's been able to provide for the Seawolves.
Never know what you're going to get from a knuckleballer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Lorenzo, I mean, I guess the thing I can say from him is that his splits have been pretty balanced. But he is still striking out way too much. And, if that doesn't change by the end of the year, I think that's probably just who he is. And it probably is just who he is. And then the rest of it just comes down to how good his defense can be. Because, if he's a quality backup who mashes for you a little bit, maybe he's a one more player, but that kind of drops him down into your, your 40 plus type tier, 40, maybe 45 if you're generous. So we'll just kind of have to see how that plays out this year. But yeah, I've been really, really excited about Callahan though. Yeah, that's a little bit of a breakout going on there. It feels like.
Yeah, his walks and strikeouts are the exact same in the last month. So his walking is just as much as he's striking out. So that's really encouraging, because as I recall, when we saw him down in West Michigan, he swung a lot of his swing was he swung so hard sometimes his helmet would fall off, and I don't see that anymore.
No, he still does that. When he gets a pitch to swing at, he swings really hard. It's one of the things I like about him. He goes for it. But yeah, he's seeing pitches better. I think he changed the stance a little bit. He seems a little bit more closed, like he's almost a little bit towards third base. But yeah, I mean, doubling your walk rate is pretty spectacular, going from high A to double A. And the power, and we talk all the time. The supplementary tools are there too. So, yeah, one of the better stories in the system this year. And you hope that at some point he gets a chance to try Toledo.
You know who else has kind of closed his stance a little bit, and I just thought about it because he just popped up on the screen here again. But is Mr. McGonigal? Like it feels like he just is just like standing a little bit more closed now. Maybe to keep himself from pulling off a little too much lately, because they are obviously trying to pitch him away, and he knows this. So yeah, maybe that's a little bit of an attempt to counter that.
That's one of the fun things about McGonigal is like, it's not all that great. And then you go, oh, well, it's still like a 130 WRC plus for a 21-year-old rookie who's he's popping out a lot, but
380 OBP, starting to ambush pitches too, like starting to look like he's starting to anticipate a little bit more.
Yeah, he's going to make adjustments, and at some point he's going to terrorize the league in a fun way. So
yeah,
it's just the one thing that I will I don't think is going to terrorize the league at all, that we're talking about velocity. The one thing that the Tigers don't have anymore, it seems like guys that throw velocity. One guy they do have is Moises Rodriguez, but he's not striking out anybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, his slider is no good. And I was texting you, he got saved by the rain. I put it there. He came in, and maybe his performance was partially because of the rain, but he came in and gave up like 5 hits and a grand slam on Sunday. It was brutal. And then they called the game, and it was no game, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, he hadn't really had an outing like that before, but yeah, I don't know if it was wet ball. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he was getting hit, which was unusual too. But like, yeah, it's a pretty nasty sinker, and if you can figure out something, like he's got the semblance of a changeup. I don't know, like there are ways to cheat for a changeup these days. I don't know if you can really cheat for a breaking ball yet. Still, I mean, there's this sort of the death ball, but I don't know if you still have to spin it. I think. Well, I don't know. Brandon, you would know better about that, because I don't think Alex Lang had a terribly high spin rate, but he threw a pretty good death ball.
Yeah, he just threw it. It was just the shape of it, because it was like a curveball, but it was like 85 miles per hour. So yeah, I mean, if you can throw that kind of pitch harder than they're used to seeing it, a lot of times that can work. I mean, maybe he could throw some kind of weird like sinker variant and turn that into a changeup, or he kind of does look like he might be a kick change type guy actually, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not real sure. Not real sure what to do with him exactly on that score, because you'd like him to have a better breaking ball, because you really want him jamming right-handers and kind of being that type of specialist. But yeah, I mean, I agree with that point that if your team can't provide timely hitting, then better learn timely bunting. It's just that if you can't hit, you're probably not going to learn to bunt in the major leagues. That's all. I mean, I'm speaking of it in terms of developmentally. Like, we'd all like to see the Tigers be better at this and situational hitting, all the way through the minor leagues. And the guys that, to his credit, Scott Harris has focused on positionally are more that type of contact, speed, defense type of guy. Like, they hope that they'll develop into power, Yost, etc. But, and McGonigal obviously has, and we hope Clark will as well. But I just don't know at the major league level. Like, I don't know what you're going to do to like have some of these guys bunt, like Matt Vierling, like trying to bunt frightens me.
And there are certain things that AJ Hinch just won't do, that like old school managers like Jim Leland would do. I can't, maybe they've done one or two squeeze bunts since Hinch has been here. I don't think they've ever done a hit and run proper. Like nobody does that anymore.
I don't see that much in general, but but occasionally, Cleveland will do that sometimes. AJ, I guess if he's a throwback, he's more of a Earl Weaver type throwback.
Yeah.
Jahmai Jones flies out to center, 2 outs. But on the day, Kevin McGonigal, 2 walks, single, and a home run. He's a one man. Yeah, pretty good.
But
he's a one-man show.
I put in some numbers in June here, which is a little maybe misleading. It's only 9 games, but it's nice to see that Rayner had a couple big, one of those home runs put him up 8-6 in the 9th inning. Right, it was to dead center. And something happened with Jackson Strong. Like, he just flipped a switch and suddenly it's just hitting like crazy. And that's good to see, because we dropped him pretty far down our list because he was not making any impact at all. So it's a good reminder that maybe. But when those two guys are going, suddenly the Whitecaps have some offense. So it's been a little bit better for them. Obviously, they're still 18 games under 500.
But more watchable, definitely. They've been a lot more fun the past week, and it did feel like just that the Tigers flipped the switch and started playing better, and so did they. And they've got Haydeen back, and Patrick Lee and Hrustich and some of those guys are coming. So hopefully they'll play at least a better brand of ball in the second half. Yeah.
So that home run, oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, I'm just on the Whitecaps thing. Like the one thing I meant to ask Emily, but I just kind of wandered into the conversation because my microphone was being a pain. Was if Lucas Ellisalt like throwing a little harder and kind of building up his body, like if he'd had any issues like with his mechanics as a result, like if he felt like he was having to kind of adjust back to being a little overpowered compared to what he was last year. I just wonder about that because like at times he still looked pretty good, and I have been kind of locked in on him a little bit the last few weeks, but he's been a little wilder just in general, and that was not the MO last year. And it can be that he's working on stuff and tweaking grips and some of those things. But yeah, overall, like it hasn't really clicked for him yet. But at least he's healthy. At this point, I'll just take that and just hope it comes together with enough reps.
By the way, Sears is going back to Erie.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw that yesterday. I thought that was actually, let me go to my Gmail. Pretty sure Zach sent me the updated roster that Sears was heading back to Erie.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I thought you sent me that he was, getting sent to West Michigan, but maybe that was just a lot of times these are just procedural moves. Like you don't have room on this roster. They need somebody on that roster. I don't think it would hurt him to get a couple more starts in West Michigan at this point. Like neither of these teams are making the playoffs. And if he doesn't, he's only going 3 innings, I think, in any outing so far. Still kind of spring training for him. Let him face a little easier competition.
Okay, so all right, so I did get that mixed up a little bit there, but he is supposed to head back to Erie by the next week or two, to just get some more innings. That's all it is. But West Michigan, or right now, the Seawolves rotation has been. I mean, Lyle Lockhart got sent back down because of the Joe Miller injury. But they are really, it's basically outside of Max Elba, it's been pretty much bullpen starts. I mean, Sean Hunley technically is a bullpen guy.
Yeah. Carlos Pena, Alba, Serwa. It's a real mash unit there, like everywhere in the damn system. But yeah, like Sears will be back up there. I think we'll see Sears and Jake Miller there in the second half. Maybe Jake Miller eventually get up to AAA. I don't know. Like Brandon was saying, the velocity hasn't been back yet. But at this point, I'm just happy to see guys healthy and throwing. Like, like every week, I'm getting more and more of a Wilmer Flores vibe from Jaden Ham. Like, we just haven't heard anything, haven't seen him. Saw something on the backfield early. He was giving up home runs to nobody's. Just think the shoulder might be toast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's been no updates whatsoever on him at all. I mean, even I've asked Terry, and she hasn't seen him on the backfields at all. So
I will say, Jacobs had an interesting outing, and I think once he gets to like the second time through the order, the hitters seem to be picking up the fastball better, and so he has to really battle, and that results in a fair amount of walks and just the sort of development that I think he needs once you start going deeper into games. And if and when he figures that out, then maybe he'll go up to Erie too.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to see him, build a little more velocity, obviously too. But but just getting challenged and having to sequence different and mix things up and pitch guys backwards a little bit more and kind of keep things on their toes and throw strikes while he does it is probably good for him.
But by the way, Holton has pitched better as of late. So I don't know why we want to turn off the TV when he's posted he's been pitching better as of late. Thomas, come on, man.
Yeah, he has actually kind of been a little bit nasty lately, actually, with the sweeper. When he has that dialed in, that really does give him that little extra weapon against him. So, but you might want to turn your TV off anyway because it's just been rough. Like the Tigers are ahead. Just don't tell me if anything goes wrong.
No, that home run, by the way, by Rayner, the deep center, barely just went over the yellow line because at first they ruled it a double, and then they saw that cross the line. But it was 107. It was 107 off the bat, something like that. It was 412 feet. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
the one that helped them get the lead the other day. So we're talking about Jesus Pinto, kind of acting a slump a little bit there. Jordan Yost. His first not his first home run. Was it his first home run? No, it wasn't.
It was his first home run.
Yeah,
it was the first one. Okay, what's this? Okay, all right.
The other one was in the spring and
no, he's we talked about it last week, but like he's coming along just fine.
Yeah.
It's we knew the power was going to be something that would come later if it comes, and he's starting to get a little bit more extra base pop here, and we saw the home run. Everything else is, like you said, he's walking almost as much as he struck out, which again we kind of take that for granted with McGonigal again, but that it's not terribly common for high school kids.
Yeah. And his swinging strike rate is super low. I mean, he's kind of been as advertised, I think.
He battles. Yeah, there's a little bit of like Ichiro in his swing where he just kind of he'll bail out and put the bat on the ball with 2 strikes. Not running as much as I think he will later, but defense is solid. So yeah, he's been fun, and Espinal continues to hit. Jerry had an interesting stat that despite having 4 home runs, he's only got 2 barrels on the year. But I'm not too concerned about that. Like I looked at his launch angle.
He's another one who kind of bails out a little bit sometimes. And, like just flares something somewhere, but he always seems to get the bat on it.
His launch angle and exit velocity are like, it's low A, so it's obviously not the same as the big leagues, but it's almost like identical to Bo Bichette. Like you can live with that, especially if you're walking like he does, and Bo Bichette does not. But
and you're a catcher,
and he's small, so I would never project like probably even above average power for him, but if you're walking, you're hitting, you got some extra base pop, and you manage to learn how to play catcher, that'll be very valuable.
And Christensen doing Christensen things, just he's not long for Lakeland.
He finally got hit a little bit, but also when he wasn't getting hit, he was striking everybody out, and then he hit a couple guys for fun. He doesn't walk people; he'll just hit you.
Yep. I mean, the only pitch that isn't super nasty is the sinker, and even that, like just the low release and kind of the quick arm there, like really had them off balance early, and then it seemed like they just tagged a string of singles against them. Really, they weren't hitting the ball too hard, but man, slider nasty, changeup nasty, getting whiffs all over the place, controlling them both. It was a pretty impressive showing again.
By the way, earlier what happened, the only 2 current Taiwanese players face off against each other. That's pretty cool with how you got the hit off of is it Tang?
Wei Ting. He struck him out. He struck Lee out in the first at bat, I think, and Lee got a single in the second one. So
that's pretty cool.
Sent each other texts tonight.
Yeah. That's really cool. Sorry.
That first inning from Tang was crazy. I haven't actually watched him pitch before, and it was like, okay, he's all over the place.
that curve too, that like that curve that kind of looked like a sweeper or not. It was like up in the zone too.
But with no depth either. Just like kind of the horizontal one. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
That was pretty crazy. Anything else you want to highlight on Lakeland before we move on, Chris?
Oh, no, I just get to every time I do this slide, I'm like, him. Like there's just so many interesting players there in Lakeland that they're worthy of highlighting every week, but if we do that, it'll take 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's like there's nobody going crazy, but there's a lot of guys who are very interesting. So, and I guess we could throw Witherspoon into that because he's interesting, but he's also already like the type of dude who you can get really infuriated with.
Well, and I don't know if people looked at what his brother's doing, but his brother's having the same issues at a level higher. He's getting 0 whiffs with his fastball. It's like, like maybe there's just something here with the arm action, but
I mean, and like that's not going to be the bread and butter. Like you're hoping that the sinker gets a lot of ground balls and weak contact, and then the cutter and the everything else get the whiffs for him. But it's still getting just teed off on too often for sure.
Dingler.
And that's not the type of pitcher that the Tigers, like the last 4 or 5 years, have really worked with. And it's kind of the same thing with Christensen. Like they don't have a lot of like low 3/4 slinger types,
funky angle guys.
So it'll be interesting to see how they go about figuring that out, and if they decide to hire a director of pitching at some point,
which they should at this point, because frankly,
they need some fresh. It feels like they need some fresh voices down there for sure. I don't know what to say about the injuries. It's hard to believe this is all bad luck at this point because it's just so prevalent, but you just never know. Baseball is weird. And they did draft a lot of prep pitchers, and sometimes this is what happens, I guess.
Angel De Los Santos continues to hit. Yerber Mattia is finally back. I think Brandon scooped us on that one.
Oh yeah,
which was we all checked that.
I think he just announced it. Yeah, I think he announced it on Instagram or someplace. Gotcha. I just saw it somewhere.
But he's got 2 games and took 4 walks. So it's like, all right, well. That's fine. Let's go.
He's just seeing pitches. Yeah.
Well, I don't care as long as he's back. That's that's a guy that I think kind of universally. Hey, Colt Keith with another homer.
Colt.
Whoa! Hell yeah!
Boy. Okay, it's on. All right, I'm going right over to my dynasty league.
But wait a minute. It's a 344-foot home run.
That's all right.
I don't care. I don't care. You know what? Yeah. I don't care. Fine.
Anything in the air,
like he's owed
anything in the air, full sided. Yeah, is all I want.
He's owed those home runs from a couple earlier ones, but very good to see.
Yeah, that is nice to see. God, that has to feel
fuck
good.
Yeah,
I mean, he must have been losing his mind for about 2 months. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
just gotta break the seal.
Yep.
But yeah, what else? Who else was? I was gonna say something. Oh, Jack Bushell.
Oh yeah, Jack
bonkers.
Bushell.
I don't know. I would love to see his data because he pitched a couple years ago, but he had 5 innings, 10 strikeouts, 1 hit. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on, Jack Bushell?
Yeah.
Have we cornered the market on interesting Australian pitchers?
Yep. Or does he just have like a really good breaking ball and just those kids were just like absolutely flummoxed? Hard to know.
Well, that's the case with Alamon Cruz, who I think is only 19, maybe 20 now. We saw him. He pitched right after Coba when we were in the backfields in Lakeland, so I stayed around and watched him. And it was like 90-92, but he had a curveball that he could just throw for strikes whenever he wanted. It had good depth. Oliveto was like, wish I would have hit that curveball. I'm like, well, you didn't. But so some interesting arms down there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Alamon Cruz is they don't really have a lot of Mexican pitchers in their system, right? I think he's one of the few, maybe.
Yeah, I think Sammy Zaraga he's a guy who's been pitching in the DSL.
That's right.
For them, I think he's another Mexican, but I don't think they have a ton.
It's pretty cool. By the way, this is random. Just want to throw it out there. Dustin May, complete game, 1 hitter, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. So.
Oh, really? Dustin May is one of those guys that I just always loved back, 6-7 years ago. Always thought he was going to be great and just never came around. So that's good. Good for him.
Yeah, well, he was always hurt, like torn esophagus and all those weird things. Yeah. And I think, I mean, he was with Boston last year, but he's with the Cardinals this year. Like the Cardinals have, they fixed some things.
Yeah. God, I wish we had Heim Bloom. All right. At any rate,
the bottom line is Colt Keith's just hitting home runs. That's all that matters right now at this point.
I'm happy about that. Yep.
8-3 Tigers top of 7 here. And
Scott Harris, figure out the back of the lineup. Just get them some kind of like situation, whether it's Malgiri. They just need someone who's like a 90 WRC plus down there, to fill the gap, because they just got like 3 or 4 guys every day who are in the 60, 50 range, and then we'll worry about the bullpen and next year's rotation and all that later.
All right, so Pete Crow Armstrong on the hit for the cycle there, and Tigers over Astros.
I know that's one of those things, and it's like Tigers over the Yankees too.
Yeah,
like for whatever reason we like playing the Yankees, and Cleveland comes to town, and I don't know, they just crumple.
Career high, by the way, for RBIs for Colt Keith, 5 RBIs for him. So nice. That's awesome. So
he had 7 for like 13 months.
No, yeah. Everybody, I know people have been giving a lot of crap. That somebody was telling me earlier in the week that Colt Keith sucks. I was like, dude, no, he's fine. He's fine. Just give him some time. Like, I'm not worried about Colt Keith. I haven't been for a long time, and my faith has been rewarded.
Now let him play first base a whole bunch, and use Torque as your lefty matcher. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, Torkelson, by the way, I don't know if you saw the stat, Brandon.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw all the bases loaded stats. I think, isn't he 3 for 36 with the bases loaded in his career? It's something horrific like that. Honestly, Riley can't be much better. The both of them, I mean, Riley's obviously a very talented player and does his damage, but they just, I don't know, man. There's just something about that duo that it almost feels like they need to be broken up or sent out of town to, I don't know. I don't want to say anything disparaging because I don't know either one of them personally, but they just don't seem very bright as hitters. That's all I'm getting at, like Riley's a natural, I'm sure Riley was just always I break. That's what I do. I've got crazy bat speed, can dip down here, bend my waist like no one else can, and launch dingers. But yeah, I mean, they just, they never seem to shorten up. They don't seem to adapt in certain situations. I don't know. And they've got a lot of experience now. This is supposed to be their prime, where they're in their peak physically, and they have all this experience, and the experience doesn't seem to show up much.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the stats, but it feels like an outsized number of like when there are a bunch of runners on base, Riley Green, it's like a 3-pitch strikeout or 4-pitch strikeout, and he's leaving the zone, and it's
often just like 3 or 4 straight breaking balls,
Yeah.
like maybe they throw him a fastball up, but they just spam breaking balls down, and he can't just decide to chill and shorten up. He just can't do it.
But no, it's funny. I mean, right now you'll never win a World Series if Riley Green is your best position player, says OG unnamed YouTube user. That may
That's
be true,
but he is not.
Yes,
he is
you
not.
got Dingler, you got McGonigal
Yeah.
now. And it was funny. I was just looking. So you do the live stats updates, and Colt Keith is now 5th on the team in more F4.
And
Dingler at 3.2, McGonigal at 3, Green at 1.9, Torres at 0.9, Colt Keith at 0.2.
Man.
Yes!
And then everybody else is like -1, It's hard to get lower than -1 because other teams just cut you.
Yeah. Jones is -1. It's absurd. 26 WRC plus.
I like this question here. Would Jake Rogers hitting DH help with?
I know it. I mean, it's worth considering, but
Yeah.
Jake Rogers just doesn't hit enough either. Like he's very much Jahmai Jones. Like you might as well just hope that Jahmai Jones figures it out and turns into last year's Jahmai Jones, because Jake, it's just not going to happen.
No,
I think we know that. It's been too many years now.
So thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. By the way, for anybody who we had a nice donation last week. Shout out to I'm drawing a blank. I know who donated the money, but I just wanted to thank him. He sent me a message on Instagram. Thank you for signing up to our Patreon. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't so already. We're going to start our draft coverage up this week. We're going to ramp it up a little bit. I got a tip on catcher Brandon. I'll have to tell you about this offline.
Okay.
It was really weird, but overall, we're just looking forward to we are going to do a draft show in case you're curious, because people, I think we might start it a little later this year. Is that right?
The draft itself starts much earlier this year. It starts at 1:30, I think. And it's on
really?
Peacock.
Kinda
The first
strange.
round is on Peacock for the first
Yeah.
hour.
What the?
Yeah, I know.
I don't even have Peacock, guys.
Yeah, and
Like
Rob
a
Manfred.
What an asshole.
Flip back and forth between the draft and McGruber.
Or the infamous 1985 season of SNL where Damian Wayans and Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to be doing a draft show, so we'll be announcing what's all going into that. But like I said, please subscribe, donate, whatever you got to do. We definitely appreciate it. With there's going to be a trip to Erie coming up to talk to Callahan. I know I'm well overdue to go to West Michigan. It's been a while. I was going to go to a game yesterday in Lansing, but because of the field conditions, they had to cancel. So instead, I got to go to Pinball Pete's, and then I had some Cuban food downtown East Lansing. Cubana Cocina out there. It's a shout out to them. They fantastic job. Fantastic. I had a trifecta, which was like chicken, ham, and pork.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that
was really
is
good.
a pretty good perfecta. Yeah.
Pool cannonballs, yes, Jake. You better believe there will be it's
Well,
a tradition.
It's tough to make a big splash these days, but who knows? Maybe the Tigers can float Spangler down to them, or who knows what's going on there. But yeah, I'm going to Minneapolis tomorrow for about an hour.
That's it.
Oh,
I'm
really?
flying. I fly out at 9. I'm there. I have an appointment at 10:30, and then I fly home. I'm home by 3:30.
Look at you.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
the worst.
Jet set territory. I know it does.
it's the
It sounds
dumbest.
atrocious, but
I just have to get a badge renewed.
oh god, you're like, do I have to be there in person? Like what?
Yep.
It's 2026.
No, you have
Bro,
to, because
I send money all over the world, via wires and magic. But this badge,
Yeah. But shout out to Harrison's team, by the way, finishing second in the tournament yesterday.
Yeah, we had a that was a tough one, man. We had a soccer tournament out in Grand Rapids, and they won 2 games on Saturday, including there was a great play where our best goal scorer, we told him to pressure the goalie. The goalie, they passed it back to the goalie, so the goalie couldn't pick it up. We're like, pressure! So he ran and pressured him, and the goalie kicked the ball right off his face. Just blasted him in the face. but it went over the goalie and into the goal. So he scored on. Yeah, it was like
a header.
Man,
That's the,
yeah,
you just tell him it was a header.
that was like a full-on cheek shot. But yeah, they
man.
made it to the final and then they lost 3-2. The other team scored like last 5 minutes.
That's pretty good, though.
Even 12-year-olds get tired playing back-to-back games, and so. But it was fun. It was a fun experience for those kids.
That's awesome,
that's
man.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, Mitchell, Aiden Spangler, and Aiden Ruiz sounds decent. Watch them take a picture this year and just melt everyone's little heads.
Yeah,
we need pitching. We're getting a college reliever.
No, this is not the Randy Smith era. Come on, man.
No.
Shout out to Randy Smith, though. But
shout out to Randy.
Ryan Perry, Steve Perry. Okay. Anyway, enough randomness. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it classy, everybody. What's that?
Hey, there's James Bushell.
Oh, heck yeah.
Tell us what Jack throws.
Yeah. Message us. We have questions.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Yeah, you fantastic job in the week in the FCL. That's awesome, man. Appreciate it.
How he feels about New Zealand beating Iran right now, but
somebody's got to beat Iran.
Australia beat Turkey, so yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Brandon. Yes, it's true.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Keep it classy, everybody. Have a good night.